I became interested in music at a young age. My love affair with hip hop stemmed from my love affair with soul music, which my father used to play a lot when I was young. I grew up with Michael Jackson being played, Al Jarreau, so many different levels, Earth, Wind and Fire. So many soul artists, so many brilliant artists who told such brilliant, beautiful stories that I was captivated. I fell in love with it. Listening to Dana Dane flip the Cinderella story blew my mind. I didn't know you could do such a thing with words. I listened to Big Daddy Kane. I listened to all these artists, and it was a very influential time of my life, and it remains a part of my life to this day.
Okay, so introduce myself. My name is Frost Gamble. I'm a hip-hop producer from upstate New York, who currently lives in Winnipeg, Canada, and musical partner with Zoe the Jerk. Our album Black Beach drops May 26, 2017. Every place you can buy digital music, please cop that.
The artist who influenced me the most probably would be Eminem or Tupac. I would say both. I love the passion, the cadence, the prose that they use when they recite their poetry. It's beautiful. I love the way the tones that they use with their voice, with the affliction, the pitch. It's captivating. So those two artists I would say probably influenced me the most. Yet I'm influenced by hip hop as a whole. I could even cite some artists that I know personally. Bodie James influences me. Guilty Simpson influences me. King Crooked, Royce 5'9". It goes on and on and on. Hip hop as a culture as a whole has shaped and molded my life. It's been such a force in defining who I am as a man at this point that I can't envision life without it.
When did I first become interested in music? I fell in love with hip hop in the early 80s. I'm old enough to remember a lot of the early days. I'm not old enough for the Park Jam days, but those early records from Grandmaster Flash, UTFO, Fat Boys, Run DMC, Houdini, Tila Rock. That sort of era is what drew me into music. And the rawness, authenticity, sincerity, and creativity of that era were really what appealed to me. And throughout the 80s and early 90s, music and culture only got better and stronger. And I've been deeply immersed in it ever since.
I met Frost Gamble through a mutual friend / publicist. I can't just call her just a publicist. She's also a great friend and activist. She introduced me to Frost because she felt we had a similar story in it that we should meet and we could do something beautiful together. So she put us together. I was hosting a show called The JN Radio. It was a podcast. And Frost is actually the very, very first guest I had, the first person I interviewed, and we clicked. From that show spawned a video, spawned an album, or spawned multiple trips. We've been to the AC3 Music Festival in Atlanta in 2014, where we freestyled a video that was shot by my cousin. His name is Martell Slater. He's an up-and-coming boxer in Atlanta. We went to Detroit. I took him to my neighborhood. I introduced him to my mom, to my father. He met all the people on my block, Montrose. He met my brothers. He was able to actually see where I grew up from a kid through adulthood and see how many generations of us came from that block and that brotherhood that we have on Montrose. It was a beautiful thing. I think it changed the respect level between me and him that he actually came to my block. He came to my hometown. The fact he came, it made my respect level for him go through the roof. And I love him for that. That's my brother. I stand by it 145% total support Frost Gamble.
Who are my biggest influences? Wow. My biggest influence, if I had to point to one person, would be Diamond D. His Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop album back in '92, I think it was, blew my mind. And the way he was able to master flows on the microphone and these incredible beats off the SP or MPC was amazing. And he would dig for just this crazy wide variety of samples, and I found it super inspiring, and it was the main reason I wanted to start producing in the first place. I would also point out people like Beat Miners, DJ Premier, Pete Rock, 45 King, Marley Marl, Just Blaze, Alchemist, Dilla, anybody that samples, I probably paid attention to their work, and there's so many incredible producers over the years. I certainly learned something from all of them. And special shout out to the Beat Nuts. The Beat Nuts are one of my biggest inspirations because they'd sample anything, absolutely anything, and always make it funky.
The songwriting process between me and Frost is one of pure fluid motion. I could be having a thought of, I want to do a song about sound installation. He'll take that and he'll build a sound canvas around it, a landscape, an ambiance, and he'll send it back to me. And then I'm able to breathe on it. It kind of just matches where I was at. If he has a concept, he'll send it to me like, Zoe, I'm thinking this concept on this beat, and I can catch exactly where he's going, and I can take it to a new level. We work well together in that aspect. One of the songs that sticks out most about that collaborative process is Keep Me Safe. It's a song where, on Black Beach, where his son actually does the hook on the song. It's a song about fatherhood, fathers supporting, loving, and being there for their son. It's a very powerful piece on the project, actually. So when I heard his son on it, and I began to talk about my two sons on it, and then my sons jumped on it and added that final seasoning to it, and I sent it back to him, and he re-sequenced it and sent it back a whole new song. It was mind-blowing. It's a very beautiful piece. Our songwriting collaborative process is so pure, we never have to force it. That's why the music is so beautiful.
What's my songwriting process? How do you come up with beats and lyrical themes? It starts with the idea, usually. So when I'll chat, he'll give me an idea of what's on his mind, what he wants to write about, and I'll try and create a bass sound that fits what he's looking for. Sometimes it's the other way. Sometimes I come across an idea and I say, hey Zoe, what do you think about this? You want to try this topic? I think that works on this beat. So it does go both ways. And I spend a ton of time digging for samples. I'm always looking for new sounds, new ideas. And sometimes that takes the form of a groove, sometimes that takes the form of a chop. But I'm always out here digging for new ideas, absolutely.
On this album, production and flow-wise, I don't have a narrative to compare it to. A lot of artists, especially when they're new and they release their first project on this scale, they'll say, I'm a breath of fresh air, I'm something new, and they can't really define for you who they are. Well, I'm Zoe the Jerk. I'm the voice of the people. And through this project, Frost gave me an ambiance to be able to recite the frustrations, the passions, the loves, the highs and the lows of a very, very oppressed people. From that aspect, I don't have anything to compare to. I think this piece stands alone as an original, and I really think listeners will really enjoy and be captivated by the stories involved in it.
How do you work on a track together? So after we've got the base idea in mind, we start sharing files back and forth. We have shared, like Google Drive, Dropbox accounts, and we'll shoot the ideas back and forth. So, we might iterate it 4 or 5 times before we really, end up close to the final version. Really common scenario. I make a beat, I send it to Zoe. Zoe smashes it, sends it back to me. I feel like the beat isn't good enough because what he's done is amazing. And then I go back and either, adjust the beat, change it up, add some switch ups, some more spice to it. That's a very common process. And we'll go back several times before we consider a song finished product.
This album is about the Black experience in America in 2017. We've watched the demise of so many of our youngsters, so many of our babies, so many of our elders have been put in prisons and just murdered, shot down in the street like animals. It put me in a space of, we've lived through this before, history's repeating itself. If you go back and listen to the Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, it gave us a soundscape for the era, so to speak. You listen to Pimp a Butterfly, it's giving us a soundscape for the era. So what I wanted to do was take Black Beach and make it the sound of the era. This moment in history today, when people look back on what was going on in America in 2017 in the Black community, just in America in general, black beats will encompass all of it. I mean, I had to dig very deep and get in tune with myself and really express how I felt about what was going on, perspectives for change from it, and really the perspective of a people who've never received help. So it's a very emotionally compelling piece, it's a very powerful piece, but it's a very entertaining piece.
Why is your focus still on what's termed boom bap music? That's a good question. I'm not big on musical labels. I express the hip hop that was given to me by generations of talented artists before me. So when I make the music that we feel, that we appreciate, that we want to create, yeah, a lot of people would call it boom bap, and that's because it always starts with samples. Usually starts with hard drums. Usually starts with that kind of energy that people tend to associate with the old school. But to me, it's part and parcel with hip hop. People expect to hear a guitar in a rock record. I don't understand why they're surprised to hear a sample in a hip hop record. That is the core element that we've been trying to support, from day one. We believe in the elements of hip hop. We believe in the culture that we fell in love with. And things change and evolve, and that could be good or that could be bad. That's all subjective. But for us, we just try to make the best music we can make, true to ourselves.
I used to make trap music, actually. I've made trap music. I don't have a problem with trap music because I'm a fan of the hip hop culture. I would use a trap beat, but still give it that soul flair to it, and still remain in my pocket. If the music can move people and the music can connect with people and audiences, I'm all for it. I don't necessarily like the narrative or the message in this music, yet as a fan of hip hop, I respect the creativity behind it. It's difficult. It may seem easy what the Migos do and the mumble rappers do, but I don't think it's as easy as people think it is. Sometimes genius is real simple.
Ever thought about making trap music? From a beat perspective, trap producers make some great music, like dark, high energy, high intensity stuff that I appreciate. No, I haven't thought about making trap music. I mean, I've had, people talk to me like, hey, Frost, do you want to try to, do like a half trap, half? No, I don't. There's a lot of dope trap producers in the world. Let them do their thing. I'll do my thing, and hopefully a few people will listen.
The best way to handle mistakes in a live performance is not to make mistakes. Preparation met with opportunity equals success. We started touring yet, but I'm working diligently on the show to have it perfect. And if a mistake occurs, we're human. We keep moving. We don't stop and we don't get down like, oh, I messed up. No, we keep moving. See, through hip hop, it allows us to be human. Sometimes humans, we all make mistakes. We're not perfect, but you give it 145% every night, every time, whether it's one person or 20 million people there, and it'll come out right. There won't be a mistake. The audience will never catch it if something went off course because of their level of preparation. And that's the way I approach this whole music business.
What are your thoughts on the current state of the game? That's a tough question. There's so many layers to it. How can I criticize the game too much when I've been given the opportunity to share music with you? The internet has been a tremendous asset for independent artists who want to build a platform and reach new listeners. I'm really thankful for that. I'm not one of the old guys who complains about the current music, and I don't, the so-called mumble rap. I don't get upset about that. Let the kids do what they do, whatever they feel and experience and put forward as their art. That's cool, and I respect that. The only thing that bugs me, like, we get trolled too easily. The young kids are masters of social media. They'll say things like, well, I don't think Biggie Smalls was a very good MC or something crazy like that. And then the internet goes nuts and every blog picks up on them. And I imagine their sales and streams uptick accordingly. I think us older hip hop heads get trolled a little bit too easily, and I don't want to fall for that. Let the younger generation make the music they make. Some of them will go the urban pop, so-called mumble rap routes. Some of them will, follow the route that we've been following. But let everybody express themselves and do their own thing. It's all good to me.
The hip hop is flourishing. It's a very profitable machine. Yet I think that a lot of artists do less so that they can receive more attention. So they don't want to push the boundaries of thought-provoking music or vulnerable music. They'd rather play it safe and allow catchy jingles, so to speak, and the trend of what everybody else is talking about to become the soundscape of and define who they are as an artist. They won't step outside the box and become as prominent as a Kendrick Lamar, become as prominent as a Zoda Jerk, become as prominent as a J. Cole, just for the fact that they don't want to take the risk. So when music for you is something more than just the risk, it becomes, I have to say this to you. I have to, to be pure in the art form, I have to be able to say to you what I'm seeing and what I'm living. I can create stories all day, but it won't connect with you the same way a piece of my soul will. That makes sense to you?
Who do you want to work with in the future? That's a tough question. I want to work with Tone Chop and Zoda Jerk in the future, and there's a couple other people on my team as well. I spent a lot of years chasing after stars, people who were established. I badly wanted to work with, the usual suspects: Nas, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, the lyricists of the past 10 years, a lot of names. But I think what's better is to build your own platform, build with your own team, build your own sound, your own style, and that's really what Zoe and I are working, very hard to do. So, if opportunities come forward in the future organically, totally happy to accept them. But I'm not going to be chasing after established people otherwise. I'm going to be working on building our platform with our team.
I separate myself from other artists because I'm not afraid to be vulnerable. I'm a street cat from the streets of Detroit. I come from Montrose, Schoolcraft in between Kendall and Acacia. Whoever in Detroit, fall through, tell them Zoda Jerk sent you. I've lived in the North End. I've lived in so many neighborhoods. We moved around a lot in Detroit that I'm so authentically Detroit that it shaped me as a man. So what you're getting from me as an artist is who I am as a man. I'm the same on and off the court. I'm the humblest dude. I'm really here to help you. Yet the jerk moniker comes because I'm brutally honest. Sometimes we have to be accountable for the mess that we put ourselves in and the mess that we cause other humans. We got to be accountable for that, to be able to fix it and move forward. Not to punish you, but for you to see this is where the problem is. Now, let me show you how to never go through this again. To me, that's my purpose. That's what drives me. That's what compels me to write. It's my love for humans.
What else do you do besides making music? Wow, quite a bit. I'm a father. I have a 7-year-old son and a 22-year-old stepdaughter. I work full-time currently in addition to music, so I have a really busy schedule. I work as a business analyst. I just went back to, I finished a master's degree in predictive analytics last year. Zoe and I are both kind of nerds for analytics. We want to, measure and monitor this business that we're trying to develop and try to support it. I'm passionate about politics, about social justice, kind of a news junkie. I love boxing, watch the UFC, good food, good smoke, good drink, all those things, man.
In the future, I would love to work with Nas. I just think it'd be something beautiful. I would love to work with Eminem. I would love to work with Chuck D. I think we could do something very modern and something very compelling. I would love to work with Earth, Wind, and Fire. Oh, so so many artists I would love to work with. I'm a fan of music, so I would love to cross genres and make something no one's ever heard. I would totally love to sit down and do something with Tech Nine. If anybody can make that happen, that'd be great. I would love to work with, let's say, one of the Jacksons. Let's say Janet. I would love to work with so many of the great ones I love that have already passed on. I would love to just get tracks from them. I would love to do a song with Big Proof of D12. I would love to be able to make that happen today. Bun B. There's so many artists I would love to do something different and put them in a different pocket and bring more out of them and have them pull more out of me. A lot of artists. Wow. That's a great question.
By what terms do you measure success? Let me answer that question this way. My biggest fear is losing what I already have, not failing to achieve more. And by that I mean driven people like myself, like Joe, tend to continually push ourselves and never be satisfied with what we've accomplished. And I spent a lot of years pushing for more, and trying to achieve more. And that kind of happens, for a lot of us that maybe grew up without money or in difficult situations where we always want to move forward. But the danger you run into is you don't get the time to look back and realize how much you have accomplished. So over the past, really 4 or 5 years, I've just become more comfortable with the idea of looking back at what I've achieved, taking pride and satisfaction in it. I mean, I have an amazing family. I have a home. I have a career. I'm able to share my music with people around the globe. I have so much to be thankful for. More than anything, I want to protect and keep that. And if more good things come my way, I'll be thankful for that as well. Okay, and that's all the questions. Thanks very much for checking us out. We greatly appreciate any interest in our music. Thank you for the support. It's hard to break through, so we appreciate the shine and the opportunity. Peace.
Besides making music, ironically, I'm an engineer. I'm sort of a polymath. I've mastered a lot of trades. I'm constantly in a learning mode. I remain teachable. I'm humble to the fact that I know nothing at all. And that's what enables me to grasp a lot of wisdom and knowledge and to be able to regurgitate it and share in a teachable manner to help somebody else who may not have been exposed to those disciplines or ideas. So I have a CCNA in Cisco, ironically, but my favorite job that I do is being a father. It's the most rewarding job I've ever had. I love working with kids, mentoring kids. I love working with different nonprofits and churches. I love to be able to give back a piece of humanness in an age where everybody's connected to devices and human connection is rare. I just try to give that back. The most important job I've ever had is being a father and watching Alonzo, Ashton, and Ariel become great. That's my most important, most compelling job, being a dad. I measure success in terms of how many people I was able to reach, how many lives was I able to impact, how much more meaning and depth can I give somebody in their life. Quality of life is important, don't get me wrong. I would like a comfortable quality of life for myself and my family, but true success, find out about human connection. Where are you without people? You've been rocking with Zoe, underground hip hop. Take care.